Ever get that feeling? You know that feeling where your get up and go just sort of disappears?
Oh, yeah.
Like all the things that used to get you excited, they feel like just another chore on your list.
I think that spark is gone.
Yeah. And you know those hobbies that you used to love? They feel like obligations now. And even things that are supposed to be fun, I don't know, it's like you just end up feeling kind of
Like kind of numb.
Yeah, numb, exactly. And it's weird. It's unsettling. And if you're feeling that way, I just want to let you know you are so not alone.
You really aren't. We're going to unpack that today.
Yeah, that's what we're doing in this deep dive. This isn't just about like a temporary slump. This is about really getting to the bottom of why life can sometimes feel like it's lost its color.
Yeah. Why does everything feel so empty?
Exactly. What are those things, those forces that are at play that maybe we don't even realize are there, that are causing us to feel this way? And most importantly, what can we do about it? How do we get that spark back?
Exactly. How do we reignite that excitement? And one person who can really help us understand this, I think, is Carl Jung.
Okay.
Now, he didn't see this feeling of being disconnected as just like a simple loss of interest. He saw it as something much deeper.
Okay.
He believed it was a powerful signal, like a message from our unconscious.
Interesting.
Telling us that we're not in alignment with who we really are, our true selves.
Okay, so we're out of sync with our true selves.
Right. Our passions, our inherent drive to grow.
Which, I mean, that makes sense because from day one, pretty much we're told what's going to make us happy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you have good grades, you have a successful career.
Financial security.
You get the house, the car, all of it.
Social approval, all those things, yeah.
Right. We're taught to follow this predetermined path.
Yeah.
But what happens, and this is what our sources are really getting into, what happens when you do all of that? You check all the boxes and you're still left feeling empty.
Yeah, it's like you're going through the motions, but there's no real fulfillment. And that's where Jung's idea of individuation comes in.
Oh, okay.
He didn't see that emptiness as failure. He saw it as a really powerful invitation to look beyond those superficial achievements and go on a much deeper journey.
So it's like, it's not about the external stuff.
Not entirely, no. It's about uncovering who you are at your core, stripping away all those layers of societal expectations and really getting to the essence of yourself.
Individuation. So moving beyond just like fitting in and doing what we're told to really figure out who we are meant to be.
Exactly. Think of it like peeling back those layers. You know the layers of who society, your family, your past experiences have told you to be, and revealing that true self underneath.
Okay, but that's got to be a difficult process. I mean, a lot of people, when they feel that emptiness, they just look for distractions.
Yeah, and our sources talk about that a lot, how we tend to seek external solutions.
More stuff.
More stuff, new experiences, hoping to recapture that feeling. But it's fleeting.
Because, I mean, facing that quiet,
Yeah.
that inner space where you have to actually confront those things about yourself that maybe you don't want to look at.
Right.
And figure out what you really want. That's hard.
It is. It's incredibly challenging. That stillness. It forces us to face what's truly going on inside. But, and the sources really emphasize this, it's in that confrontation, in allowing ourselves that stillness, that the way forward starts to appear.
This makes me wonder, for you listening, when was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just entertained or busy, but truly alive, like in sync with yourself and what you're doing. And if that feels like a distant memory, maybe that's a sign.
It could be, yeah.
Maybe it's a sign that we've outgrown those old definitions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like what used to fuel us just doesn't anymore.
It's a really powerful way to look at it because it reframes that emptiness. It's not a flaw. It's actually a sign of growth.
Interesting.
It's like your internal compass is shifting. Those things that used to give you meaning, they don't resonate anymore because you're evolving.
So it's not that we're broken, it's that we're changing.
Exactly. You're being called to something more authentic. But to really understand how to answer that call, we need to look deeper. We need to understand those hidden forces that are shaping our desires.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Well, there are the psychological patterns we develop, the societal conditioning, even our biological rhythms. All these things are influencing how we experience the world.
So this emptiness, it's not the end of the line. It could actually be the beginning of something much more meaningful.
It's a turning point. And to start navigating that turning point, we need to understand why we feel distant.
So we've talked about this feeling of emptiness coming from a disconnect. So how do we actually reconnect?
Well, the main idea here, and this is something that comes up again and again in the research, is that this feeling that nothing is fun anymore. It's not just random. Like Jung said, and like current psychology backs up, it's often a sign, a message from our unconscious.
Okay.
It's saying, hey, things are out of whack here.
We're misaligned.
Exactly. There's a disconnect between who we are deep down inside and the life we're actually living. And all the stuff we looked at, it really drives home this point, how being disconnected from what gives our lives meaning, it can really drag us down emotionally.
Right. And I mean, we can't ignore the pressure that society puts on us to achieve, right? Get that promotion, buy that bigger house.
Definitely.
We're taught to chase those external markers of success. And sometimes, a lot of times, we do it at the expense of our inner lives.
Exactly. We end up neglecting what truly gives us a sense of purpose. And then we wonder why we feel so empty, even though on paper, we've got it all. And that's a key point in the material, right? There's this moment when we realize, hey, something's missing here.
Yeah.
And what do? Our instinct is to try and fix it from the outside.
Get a new job.
New job, new relationship, move to a new city. But as we've been talking about, those external fixes, they don't really get to the root of the problem.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Exactly. It's a temporary fix that's not going to solve the underlying issue. And this is where the idea of an identity crisis comes in. It's something that our sources touch on.
Yeah, I was curious about that. What do they mean by that, an identity crisis in this context?
Well, it's this feeling of being stuck between who you used to be, which doesn't really fit anymore, and who you're becoming, which you might not even fully know yet.
Oh, I see.
It's like you're in this in-between space.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're afraid to be still.
Yeah, silence can be scary.
It can be, because if we're quiet, if we're still, we have to face all those desires and emotions that we've been pushing down, all that untapped potential. And Jung, he really believed in the power of introspection.
Okay.
Asking those hard questions about who we really are, what truly lights us up, not what we think we should be interested in. It's about figuring out what you really want, not what society tells you to want. And that's like a key point here. How do we tell the difference between what society says and what we genuinely?
Yeah, they can get really mixed up.
They really can. And that's where individuation comes in. It's about consciously separating those external voices from your own inner voice.
Okay, so it's like tuning out the noise and really listening to ourselves.
Exactly. And it's about being willing to explore those little sparks of interest, even if they seem silly or unimportant, because those sparks, they can lead you to something truly meaningful.
That makes sense.
And it might be uncomfortable, because you're going against the grain, maybe, but it's about embracing that transformation instead of resisting it. The material talks a lot about that.
Right. And it mentions this idea of losing our curiosity, how as we get older, we fall into routines. And even though it's comfortable, it kind of sucks the joy out of things.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Our routines, they can make life predictable, but they can also make it feel stale. It's like we're on autopilot and we stop really engaging with the world around.
So how do we get out of that rut?
Well, our sources talk about the importance of making a conscious effort to cultivate curiosity, to try new things, to revisit things we used to love without judgment, just to see if those sparks are still there.
So we're not just looking for new experiences, we're also looking for those things that maybe we let go of.
Exactly, because sometimes those old passions, they just need a little bit of attention to come back to life. But what about those people who've tried all that? They've explored, they've introspected, but they still feel empty.
Yeah, where do they go from there?
That brings us to a really important truth that our sources highlight. And it's this: meaning, it's not something we find out there in the world. Okay. It's something we create. We have this tendency, like we're searching for this magical source of meaning. The perfect job, the soulmate, the one big passion that's going to make everything click.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
We've all been there. But Jung's idea of individuation, it points to something else. It's about becoming whole. Integrating all the different parts of ourselves, even the messy bits, even the parts that don't seem to fit. And when we do that, we start to create meaning from the inside out. So the question isn't, where can I find meaning? It's, how can I bring meaning into what I'm already doing?
So we're not passive recipients of meaning, we're active creators.
Exactly. And that's empowering. We're not waiting for meaning to find us. We're choosing to.
I love that. Okay, so how do we actually do that?
The research offers some really practical ways. One is through deep engagement. We're so used to being distracted, multitasking, scrolling, always on the go. So the idea here is to really focus on what we're doing in the moment.
Be present.
Exactly, be present. And when we do that, even ordinary things can become more meaningful.
Because we're actually experiencing them.
Exactly. There's this idea of flow state where you get so absorbed in something that time seems to disappear.
Yeah.
And you come out of it feeling energized, fulfilled.
So even washing the dishes can be a flow state if you're really focused on it.
It can be, absolutely. Another powerful way to create meaning is through service and contribution. Shifting our focus outward, finding ways to help others, even in small ways. It could be volunteering, mentoring, even just being there for a friend.
Yeah, acts of kindness.
Exactly. It's about tapping into that part of us that wants to make a positive impact on the world. And the research shows that doing things for others, it can really boost our own sense of purpose.
It makes you feel connected.
It does. And finally, and this goes back to Jung, it's about confronting the unconscious.
Okay.
Those fears, those emotions, those desires that we might be pushing away, they're often the source of that feeling of emptiness. So we need to find ways to explore our inner world.
Through journaling, therapy, meditation, things like that.
Exactly. And when we start to acknowledge and integrate those hidden parts of ourselves, life starts to feel more vibrant again, like the colors have come back.
So what we're saying is, this feeling that nothing is fun anymore, it's not a life sentence, it's a wake-up call.
It's a sign that it's time to create a life that truly reflects who we are, a life filled with meaning and purpose, and we have the power to do that.
This has been amazing. So much to think about.
I agree.
And for those of you listening, as you go about your day, I want you to ask yourself this.
Yeah.
What's one small thing you can do today to be more present, to engage more deeply with your life?
What can you do to bring more meaning into what you're already doing?
And remember, that power to create a life that feels right, that feels true to you, it's already within you. You just have to tap into it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us.